Hey guys, it's Monday morning in a very cold and very early Illinois, and I'm right here in my father-in-law's front yard. Joan and I are about to part ways again. Yeah, I know, but it's for the last time. She's got 2 more weeks of work, and I've got 2 more weeks of work back in Tennessee. Here's a cool story. This is Monday, and a week ago today, we were down at our house in Tennessee on Monday morning, packing everything up to head to Cedarville University for their missions conference, where we're going to be there for a week. And the story of how we were able to not only be in Tennessee that morning, but how we were able to make it to Cedarville for the missions conference is a pretty cool story that I thought you guys might like to hear. So here it is. Okay, so I just said goodbye to Joan, and you guys don't get to see that. A bunch of teenagers just said, whew, we didn't want to see that. So yeah, super sad, but also kind of glad that it's only just 2 more weeks that we have to be apart. So Joan's off to work. We're going to part ways down here at the end of the road. She's going to turn north, and I'm going to head south. So like I was saying, if you've been following us for any amount of time, you know that we've had car trouble for more than a year. It's always something else with that car. So most recently, I came up to Illinois on the 19th of December for Christmas, and on the 20th the car overheated and we took it into a shop that does work for my dad, and bad news, needs a new engine. $5,000 to $6,000. Oh man, yeah, that was not what we wanted to hear. We're still making payments on that car. We're hoping that that car would last us for a few more years, or at least last us long enough to nail down exactly what kind of car we need for this ministry and be able to raise funds for that. So this friend of mine wanted to help out. He was going to start and run maybe something like a GoFundMe or some way of getting the money that we needed in order to get a vehicle that would work for us. And that was a really cool idea, except for the fact that, well, one, I've never been really good at asking people for stuff. I'm horrible at raising money. And two, and probably even bigger than that, we've got really good friends who their son has cancer, and they've got a GoFundMe thing going on, and it just, the whole thing seemed like not the right time. So I told them just to wait, not to start a GoFundMe thing, that we'd be fine, we could drive the Jeep. But then 5 days after dropping the car off, the shop called back and we find out that the engine's toast. It's gonna need a new one. $5,000 to $6,000 to get that bad boy fixed. It wasn't gonna get fixed. So just a few days after explaining why I didn't want to do a GoFundMe or launch some kind of campaign to raise money for a new car, I had to message that supporter and say, hey, maybe that is a good idea. Any chance we could do that soon? Because I don't have anything to drive. And in a few days I have to go to Cedarville and have no way of getting there. So then that supporter calls another friend of ours, and he gives me a call and he says, hey, I might have a solution to your problem. Let's meet somewhere. So next thing I know, I'm going to McDonald's. We sit down for a little meeting, and this friend of mine says, hey, if I were to give you a car, would you be cool with that? Like I've got a car, I think it's a really good one, and we're willing to buy it and give it to you. But just didn't know if you'd be fine with that. Would that be cool? Yeah. What he had to say was amazing. So this friend of mine, he says, not only do we want you to have this car that we found, but we want to pay for it. And then, because we know it's an old car and there's probably going to be problems with it, and we're just looking for something that can get you around until you get the car that you need, he said him and his family wanted to cover any expenses that we had as far as getting any work done, taking it to a garage. So he said, listen, we want to be a part of this ministry, so anything that happens to this car over the next 3 years, we're going to pay for it. Yeah, that's what he said. I didn't know what to say. Like, I had no idea what to say to that. So they gave us a car, and then offered to cover any bills that we had in maintaining that car, anything that broke on it. If we had to take it to a shop somewhere, he insisted that we hand over the bill to them, and they would take care of any of those fix-it bills for the next 3 years. He said that him and his wife have been praying for us for a long time, following what we're doing, and had always wanted to be a part of that in some way. And he said something really cool while we were sitting there in that McDonald's. He said, Tim, I can't do what you do. He said, God hasn't gifted me that way. I couldn't get up and be in front of people or connect with people in that way. He said, that's just not me. That's not how I'm made. I could never be that guy. He said, but the Lord has blessed us with jobs to where we're now at the point where we can help out in some way, and this is what we want to do. So this is our way of being a part of what you're doing. Okay, so it's too dark inside the car to see my face now. Oh, I know, I feel bad for you guys. Anyway, we're almost home. I appreciate you riding with me this far. So I told Joan what the guy said about how him and his wife wanted to be a part of this ministry. They didn't want to just give money towards something. They felt that them buying the car and agreeing to pay for any repairs that were needed on it for 3 years was their way of being a part of this ministry, of one day getting the rewards for what happened through our ministry. They're going to be a part of that, which is awesome. And it's exactly what Joan had been praying for. So when I told her that, she started freaking out. She's like, that's what I've been praying for. She said, I've been praying that people don't just support us, because I've been praying for a while now that we could get our support up to where, you know, Joan doesn't have to be away from me all the time and have to go back to work, and, you know, we'd be able to fully fund this ministry and have everything that we, you know, need to have and all that stuff. So Joan had been praying that not just that we would get supporters, but that the people that support us wouldn't look at it as a charity. They wouldn't look at it as like a tax write-off. They wouldn't look at it as, oh, the poor Carmichaels, let's help them out. She had specifically been praying that the people that decide to support us would do so because they see it as being a part of this ministry, that they see what they're doing as being a vital part of what it is that God's doing to reach unreached people groups around the world. We're a small part of that in what we do, traveling around and speaking and trying to find more missionaries to go and be a part of it, and try to find more people to be willing to give towards that sort of a thing. And so we play a part, our supporters play a part. His family who got together and decided, you know what, we're gonna go buy this car because we think it'll work for a few more years and we want the Carmichaels to have it. And you know what, because it's, you know, a 2002 and it's got a bazillion miles on it, we're also gonna kick in and cover the cost of any repairs that happen over the next 3 years. And the reason we're gonna do that as a family is because we want to be a part of what God's doing in this ministry. So anyway, I thought that was a pretty cool story, and I thought that you guys would enjoy it. All right, so I'm almost home. I appreciate you riding with me this whole way. It's dark again already, man. All right, just to recap, Joan's been working in Illinois since September. We've had car trouble since September. Just before Christmas, I went to Illinois, and while I was there, the car completely broke down, and we were told we need a new engine. We were without a car for about a week, and after that week, a friend contacted us and said that his family had decided that they wanted to buy us a vehicle that would suit our needs in the short term until we were able to get the vehicle that we needed for this ministry for full time being on the road. Joan's been able to borrow 2 vehicles while she worked up there in Illinois from 2 friends of ours, a couple of older guys who, because of their current health situation, they're not able to drive their cars, so they've been letting her drive those to work. Oh, this is where I live, by the way. It's nice to see that the house is still here. That's always a good thing. All right, well, oh, you want to see those cars? Let's go back to Illinois. Hold on. All right, put it in reverse. You ready? This is gonna be a long trip. Told you it'd be a pretty cool story. So that's the Ford Explorer, and that back there is the car that another friend of ours is letting us borrow. That's the one that Joan's been driving around. She loves it. It's got heated seats. You can start it like with a remote control. That's pretty cool. Anyway, it's amazing how the Lord provides in ways that we never ever would have expected. Pretty cool story, huh? God's great.